Plant reproduction. Plants have many structures that are used for reproduction. Some of the structures are flowers, cones, seeds, and fruits. Flowers. Most flowers contain male and female parts. The stamen is a male part. It contains the anther where pollen is produced. The pistil is a female part. It contains the ovary where egg cells are produced. Insects, birds, and wind help move the pollen. Fertilization occurs once the content inside the pollen joins the egg cells inside the ovary. Seeds develop after fertilization. Take a look at the picture. The stamen contains the anther with pollen. Although flowers come in different colors and shapes, they all contain the same structures used in reproduction. Cones. Some seed plants reproduce with cones. These plants usually produce both male and female cones. The male cones produce pollen that is released into the wind. The female cones produce a sticky liquid that captures the pollen. Fertilization occurs in the female cone. Pollen is produced in the smaller male cones. Seeds develop in the larger female cones. Seeds. A seed contains an embryo surrounded by a food supply or cotyledon and an outer seed coat. An embryo is the beginning of a new organism. It will live off of the food supply until it is big enough to make its own food. Fruits. As a seed develops, the ovary enlarges into a fruit, which protects the seed. Some fruits appeal to animals, which eat the fruits and spread the plant seed in their droppings. Plants rely on animals to scatter their seeds. Plant survival and behavior. Environments can present challenges to the organisms that live there. An adaptation is a physical trait or behavior that helps an organism survive in its environment. Many plants have parts that are physical adaptations. For example, desert plants have adaptations for living in a hot, dry environment. Cacti have thick, waxy stems that store water. They have dense, shallow roots to soak up rain quickly. Rainforest plants, such as orchids, have adaptations that help them survive in hot, wet conditions. An orchid's aerial roots absorb nutrients and anchor the plant high in a tree. Orchids also have leaves that are shaped to drain excess water to prevent rotting. Many plants have adaptations to defend themselves from animals that would eat them. Some plants have thorns. Others produce chemicals that are poisonous or taste bad. Plant behavior. Plants have internal structures that enable them to react to changes in their environments. A change in an environment that causes an organism to respond is called a stimulus. The reaction or change in behavior of an organism is called a response. Plants respond to stimuli such as sunlight, water, and gravity. A plant responds to a stimulus by changing its pattern of growth. A plant's response to water, gravity, light, and touch is called tropism. Plants respond to light by growing toward the light source. This response is known as phototropism. Most plant roots grow downward, the same direction as the pull of gravity, while most stems grow upward. This is called gravitropism. Roots sense water in the soil and grow toward or away from it. This response is known as hydrotropism. Some plants respond to touch or contact with an object by curling around that object or clinging to it. This is known as thigmotropism.